Hello, my name's Lauren, and if you've not seen my videos before, I like to talk about all things bookish, so book reviews, reading vlogs, book hauls, all of that good stuff. And today we are doing a reading vlog because if you have seen my videos before, you will know that reading vlogs are my absolute favourite thing to do. And this morning I wrapped up a reading vlog for Caraval, so this reading vlog is of course for Legendary because I could not finish Caraval and not go straight on to the second book. So we are going back to the world of Caraval, we are going to get Donatella's story, and we are going to find out just what bargain she made to get her and Scarlet out of the way of her father. So if you haven't seen my reading vlogs before, they are very spoiler heavy. This is a deep dive into the book, sort of reviewing it as I go along. So if you haven't read this book and you want to, maybe don't watch this. However, if you've already read it or you've got zero interest in reading it, then stay tuned. Let's do this journey together. So I highly suggest going and watching my Caraval reading vlog first. I had so much fun with that vlog. I had so much fun diving into the world of Caraval, and it does explain a little bit more in that vlog about how I was completely new to this series. So yeah, head on over and go and watch that one first. If you're all caught up, we can get on with this. Don't know how much I'm going to get read. I've potentially got like maybe a couple of hours on my own this evening, so I reckon we can do a decent whack of it tonight. Again, I am going to take my time with it. I really took my time with Caraval, even though I did get through it quickish because I was reading big chunks at a time, but I wasn't like speed reading the pages. This is a series that I really want to take my time with and fully absorb it all and just be really present reading the book. So let's go. Let's start Legendary. Super excited. Hello, so I am now on page 107 of Legendary, so it seems like a good time to do a big chunky update. We have a sleeping buddy as well. So yeah, good time to do an update I think, and we got straight in there with the action on this. Like almost immediately in this book it was revealed that the Count in Caraval had actually been played by an actor called Armando. However, Scarlet didn't know that this was the case at the start of Legendary, and they were going to go to the capital where the Count, the real Count, actually lives, and then that was causing all sorts of problems because Scarlet didn't want the Count to see that Teller was still alive. So Julian confessed to Teller that it was an actor. However, this actor isn't exactly a great guy, and he's sort of been mocking Scarlet for not realising that everything in Caraval is just a game. However, that's raised some questions for me because in Caraval, like the first book and the game, the Count and Scarlet and Teller's father were working together in the game, and Armando is now mocking Scarlet for not realising that he was an actor and just part of the game. But that also has to mean that Scarlet's father didn't know he wasn't the real Count either, meaning that Scarlet's father also doesn't know what the Count looks like. And Scarlet's father's presence in the game wasn't part of the game, that was real, and the scar that he gave Julian is also real, like he did injure Julian. So that's left me with quite a lot of questions about this whole mocking and not realising that things in Caraval are just a game, because that part of it wasn't a game. So that's where we're at with that. Anyway, I'm just having a look at my other notes, and what I will say about this book is there's more, you're getting to see more of the world of Caraval here. Like in the first book you got little glimpses of Scarlet and Teller's home island, but that was only very brief. And obviously the vast majority of the novel was set on Legend's private island, but it was while the game was in play as well, so it looked like Caraval. We're now in the capital city for the next game, but the game hasn't, I've just reached the point where it is day one of Caraval, and so there's been like a little bit more about the world, like the universe that this is set in, and it definitely has a very magical feel to it, like those carriages that go through the sky, and there's some really like a deeper, darker magic feel to it as well. I mean, obviously Caraval was quite dark in places, but the whole universe feels quite darkly magical too, if that makes sense. So Legendary is from Tella's point of view, and I wasn't sure how I would feel about that. I'm still not 100% sure how I feel about that, like making the switch from Scarlet to Tella. However, I do like that Tella brings a feistiness to this novel that obviously wasn't really present in Caraval, because Scarlet and Tella are two completely different personalities, so there is more of a feistiness, more of a risky element to this, with it being from Tella's point of view, so I do like that. I am sort of wondering if Tella and Dante are going to become my new Scarlet and Julian for this novel, or whether I'm just hoping for like the romantic happy endings again, and that is not how this is going to go. Like I say, there's just a lot of questions at the moment, not a lot of answers. This is a thicker book than Caraval. It is slightly longer, and I am only 100 pages in, so it makes sense that there are just a lot of questions at the minute. Like a lot of questions about Legend, a lot of questions about who Tella's friend is, a lot of questions about Scarlet and Tella's mother. So there's still so much to discover here, and yeah, I'm going to keep plodding on with it. I don't know if I'll get much more read today because I am extremely tired today, and when I start reading it makes me fall asleep. And that's not good for trying to take everything in this, but I am enjoying it. I feel like I just need to get into it a little bit more. In the grand scheme of things, I think this is something like 470 pages, so 100 pages is only a very small dint in it. I do need to get into it a little bit more, but I am enjoying it. Good morning, it is Sunday, and if you've watched my reading vlogs before, then you know that Sunday mornings are only good for one thing, and that is making a coffee and going back to bed and reading. So that is exactly what I'm going to do. Honestly, a coffee is so needed. This morning I feel terrible. Legendary, we need to discuss. So I'm really enjoying it. I am really enjoying it. However, at the minute I don't feel like it's giving me the same thrill as what Caraval did, and I'm not sure why. I don't know if it's because it's not Scarlet and Julian, or if there's just so much going on in this. So like in Caraval, obviously there was lots of twists in Caraval, but a big like information dump and a big load of things happened at the end of the book. However, for Legendary, so much has happened already. It's like a bit of a reversal. I think I'm on something like page 180, something like that, and so much has happened in it already. So, but there's a cat, he's probably going to start meowing. So yeah, like there's the whole thing with Scarlet not realising that the Count was played by an actor in Caraval. She's found that out now. That hasn't been resolved because obviously this is not Scarlet's story. He's so loud, honestly. Like this is every day, all day. What do you want? Do you want to see the people? This is the chonk responsible for all the noise. Like he is a chonk as well. Anyway, after the Thomas interruption, yeah, that's not been resolved because obviously it's not Scarlet's story. What else? I'm just looking down at my notes here. There's the whole storyline about Jax and how Tella faked being engaged to him, or rather Dante faked Tella being engaged to him. He's the heir to the Empire, but he's also a fate. So we've had the whole thing about fates being introduced now, and Jax is actually the Prince of Hearts, who can kill someone apart from his true love with a kiss. Then there's the whole Dante and Teller storyline and whatever's going on between them, and now the game of Caraval has started. And Jax has kissed Teller, so if Teller doesn't give him what he wants by the end of the game, which is to pretend that she is engaged to him throughout the game, and to bring him legend at the end of the game, she's gonna die. So yeah, there's just a lot of little threads to keep track of. And like I say, it's beautifully written. You can tell that there's been a progression in the writing since Caraval, and the opening to some of these chapters is just, it's exquisite. It's so beautifully done, but I'm not quite getting the same feeling as Caraval yet. That may change, we shall see. Vat of coffee acquired. I need it to cool so I can drink it now and hopefully feel a bit more human soon. Hi, so I am plodding along very nicely with Legendary. I am on page 280, which means I've got less than 200 pages left in the book now. I haven't been making as many updates for this because I also haven't made as many notes for this book. I have a page that I've made and then this bit, but this is nowhere near as many notes as what I made for Caraval. Now, I don't know if that's just because we're sort of just plodding along on the story of like the fates and Teller trying to find out more information about her mum, and there's perhaps not as much twists and turns within the game as what there was in Caraval. But I still stand by my theory at the minute that this isn't scoring quite as high as what Caraval did for me. I am enjoying it, but a lot of this seems more about things that are real rather than in the game. And I know in Caraval a lot of it was painted to be real, but then it was just part of the game, whereas a lot of this does seem that it isn't part of the game, if that makes sense. So the whole story of Teller and Scarlett's mum doesn't seem to be part of the game. The whole thing about the fates coming back, like, I'm not sure if that is part of the game. I mean, it is obviously linked to legend, but I would say that it's probably not a false part of it. It is very much happening in real life. And then obviously Teller has been kissed by the Prince of Hearts, so she is slowly dying. And I also don't think that that's part of the game either, because obviously in Caraval, Teller did die as part of the game, so I can't see it going down that route again. But yeah, I am really enjoying it. Like I said, I wouldn't have got this far in the book and I wouldn't be reading it at the pace that I am reading it without enjoying it. But I do think it's sitting around a 4.5 for me currently, whereas I gave Caraval a full 5 stars. Good morning. Yesterday, I was like, I haven't updated as much for this book as what I did Caraval, because I'm just sort of plodding along with it. There's nothing really big that I'm like, I need to update now. I went to bed. Within the first 2 pages, bam, major twist. Couldn't do like an in the moment reaction because I was in bed and I wasn't getting up and getting the camera. But big twist last night, big good twist. Teller ended up in some sort of like fight with the Maiden of Death and her handmaids. The fates are coming back. So she ended up in some sort of big fight with them and almost died. And the entire way through, I was like willing Dante to come and be a knight in shining armour and rescue her. This is where the big twist comes in, because Dante did come in and save her. And I was like, yes, this is what I want. And then Teller was like semi-conscious and she heard Julian and Dante talking. And basically Dante said that he only cared about her because she could lead them to the deck of destiny cards, and then they could get their hands on the cards. It didn't actually care about Teller. And then he referred to Julian as his brother. Now, I very much, and it's basically said in this story that Teller's game might not be a game, but I don't know if that's just Jax trying to convince her that it's not a game, or if some parts for her aren't actually a game. Are Julian and Dante brothers? Who knows? I've got about 150 pages left in the book, and now I'm like, I need answers. It's going up now in my score. We're slightly shifting from a 4.5 now. But yeah, I'm really excited to sit down and read more of this tonight. Hi. I have been looking forward to tonight for I think like the past 24 hours. I have an evening in on my own, a good couple of hours to just sit and blast through Legendary. And we're getting to the nitty-gritty of the book now. I'm very excited for this. I've got about 150 pages left in the book, and yeah, we're really getting down to it now. I can't see me doing all 150 pages tonight because I am not a fast reader at all, and I'm also not looking to like speed read my way through the book. I'm wanting to take my time. I'll be taking my notes if I need to. And yeah, but you know the drill now if you've watched these reading vlogs. It's time to get a little snacky snack, get under my blanket, get the reading ambience on, and dive headfirst into my book. Let's go. Only 100 pages to go now. I am making very good progress. I am fairly positive that I now have a firm theory as to who Legend is, and I know it's been back and forth and it's never truly revealed it. I'm kind of hoping it does reveal it in this one and it doesn't string it on to finale. I am hoping it's revealed in this one because I am pretty set in this theory now. Now, I know if you watched my Caraval reading vlog, like, very early on in that, I was full on board with the theory that Julian was Legend. And I know that idea has been thrown about again in this book. However, I am almost certain, and I'm prepared to be proven wrong here, but I am almost certain that Legend is Dante. Now, I'm assuming if you've watched this far in the vlog that you've read this book, so you're either going to be like shaking your head at my stupidity or nodding along that I finally have it. But hear me out, this is why I'm convinced it's Dante. In the book, a lot of the characters they're portrayed to be older than what they actually are. Like, if I'm being brutally honest, this is perhaps one small gripe that I have with both Caraval and Legendary, is that at times it's quite hard to picture Scarlet and Tella being the ages that they actually are. So in this book, Tella is 16 approaching 17 and Scarlet is 18. Now they are written, I think, as much older than that, especially Tella. Tella has got up to a lot of things that you perhaps wouldn't expect to be written about by a 16-year-old. Like, I am not naive to worldly facts. Personally, I don't think you see many 16-year-olds written in the way that Tella is written in here. That being said, Julian is supposed to be a similar age to Scarlet. Now, I'm assuming Dante is also supposed to be around that sort of 16 to 19 age category. The man acts a lot older than that. And as I said, Tella and Scarlet also act a lot older than their age. However, there's something about Dante, like a world wiseness. And he's just been telling Tella about like his childhood and the meaning behind his tattoos, and all of that seems to play out as though he's remembering something from a long time ago. Now, no 17, 18, 19-year-old talks about their childhood as though it happened a long time ago, because it did not. So, and I also feel another thing that's backing up my theory, is that we've established that this game is probably more real for Tella than other Caraval games have been. And I feel like because there's the whole thing about Jax wanting Legend, Legend has to be someone that Tella has an investment in. And that person in this book would be Dante. Like, she wants to believe that he's good. She wants to believe that he cares about her. And I just feel like it's the perfect setup for him being Legend. Now, like I say, I might have got this completely wrong, but that is a theory that I'm sticking with. The one thing that I cannot work out at the minute is what Scarlett is up to. I have got no idea. Like, Scarlett and Julian's storyline seems completely unresolved at the moment. Like, that's just sort of being brushed to the side. I don't even know if we're going to get a conclusion on that. But Scarlett is up to something, and it seems now that it's involving Jax. I can't work that one out yet. I don't know what those two are plotting. I don't know what's happening there. So we've had this whole thing now that Tella's mum promised her second born daughter to a temple because the second born daughter would have powers. Now the second born daughter is Tella. So now Tella's upset and angry at her mum. I can't work that bit out yet. But yeah, there's 100 pages to go. Not that I want much from the last 100 pages of this book, but yeah, I'm not going to get it finished tonight. I really don't think I am. But I can probably have another solid hour, an hour and a half, plugging away at this. And yeah, let's see if there's any more answers or more questions knowing this book. And there might be another update tonight. The confusion of Caraval. The shock, the awe, the confusion that I experienced in Caraval is back. Jax, the Prince of Hearts, a fate, doesn't have a heartbeat unless it's for his one true love. Now has a heartbeat. Tella has felt the heartbeat and she's convinced now that it's because she's his one true love. But now we've just moved on. It's like, oh, you've got a heartbeat, I'm your one true love, this changes nothing, you're still going to get me the deck of cards, off we go. I'm inclined to believe that Tella is not his one true love, but he's just been seen with Scarlett. What if Scarlett's his one true love? Well, look who was probably correct about the Legend theory. I am still 60 pages from the end though, so I would not be entirely surprised if another twist did not come in this. But so far, it very much looks like my theory was correct and Dante is Legend. And now, Tella's gone and done the world's most stupidest thing and decided that she's going to trade places with her mum. So now she's trapped herself inside a cart in the hopes of freeing her mum, and Legend can't even do anything about it if Dante is Legend. So yeah, 60 pages to go. I desperately want to finish this tonight, but I really don't think I am gonna. Let's just hope that this does stick now. Like, I'd really like this to be the end of who is Legend. I don't want this to string on into the third book, so let's just keep it that Dante is Legend. I have got no godly clue what this says about me, but why am I now warming to Jax? Why? Why is Jax being nice? The Prince of Hearts, the Fates are free now, apparently. We've yet to see them, aside from Jax, because they need to regain their strength. But Jax is being extremely nice to Tella, and I am warming to Jax. And I don't think that's supposed to happen, but it is. I could have just guaranteed that there would have been an abundance of twists at the end of this, because this is exactly how Caraval played out. So, Empress Elentine is dead, and it was supposed to be Jax who was the heir to the throne, but Elentine's missing heir arrived, but no one knew who it was. So now their heir has made an appearance, and it is Legend. So the question remains, is he truly Elentine's missing heir, or is he just posing as the heir in a scheme cooked up with Elentine because they didn't want Jax to take the throne? I don't know. I don't know if Legend is just posing as the heir. What he has to gain from this, like what extra powers would he get? Or is he genuinely Elentine's heir? I don't know. I'm at the epilogue now. I feel like I'm not going to get the answers. It's a good job I'm moving straight on to finale after this. Finished. I genuinely did not think I would do this tonight. I'm not going to do the final like update and wrap up because I've still got like little bits like the acknowledgements and the little notes in the back to read. And it's 11 o'clock at night. I have done this in record time for such a chunk of a book for me. Like, anything over 350 pages is a chunk of a book for me. But we'll do a proper wrap up in the morning. We'll do my full thoughts in the morning because there's a lot of thoughts swirling around in my head. I am going to go straight on to finale. I'm hoping finale is from multiple viewpoints, not just one character, but I guess we'll find out tomorrow. I will be back in the morning to do a full wrap up of this, a rating, my full thoughts once I've had time to process them overnight. So yeah, see you in the morning. It is the final wrap up for the Legendary reading vlog. As you saw last night, I finished the book. Did not think I would get it finished last night. I had a lot of thoughts when I'd finished it. By the way, if you can hear some background crunching, the cat has decided he's going to come and eat his biscuits right as I hit record. But anyway, I had a lot of thoughts when I finished it, so I didn't want to do the update last night because it was like 11 o'clock when I finished reading as well. So I thought we would wait until today. I made my notes in my notebook and I am ready to do the final wrap up. So you will have seen it was a bit of a roller coaster with this book. There were a lot of things that I wasn't sure whether I liked as much as Caraval. The fact it was from Teller's point of view was one of those big things. However, I am just looking down at my notes. What an ending this book had for Teller. Like, for me, this made me love Teller a whole lot more when we got to the ending of it, because that ending for her was just perfection. It was great. Now, Legend has been revealed, and I said last night when I did my update that I had a theory for who Legend was. My theory was correct. It was Dante, providing that that does not change in finale, but I don't think it will. I think that's that part concluded now. We can firmly say that Legend is Dante. I did really like that it concluded that storyline in this. I did not want that to drag out into the third book. What I would like to see from the third book, and I haven't opened this yet, I have not read the blurb or anything, I know nothing about it. Much like the whole series, I am going in blind. I would like to see this book from multiple viewpoints. So I would like chapters from Donatella, chapters from Scarlet, chapters from Dante / Legend, maybe chapters from Julian, bringing the whole main cast together for the finale. That is what I would like to see. I am moving on to this book straight away. I'm moving on to this tonight. So much like when I read Caraval, I am ending this reading vlog for Legendary and I will be starting a fresh reading vlog for finale pretty much straight away. But yeah, I'm excited for like the series to conclude and for it all to come together. I have to say, for this, I loved the character of Jax, like far more than I think you're supposed to. But then I was reading the notes at the end, like there's some chapters included at the end where Stephanie Garber has annotated them, and she said that Jax was one of her favourite characters to write and that he does come back in finale. So I'm very, very pleased about that because I really enjoyed reading the character of Jax. I do think the ending of this one was probably better than the ending of Caraval. It had a lot more punch to it. There was a lot more, I mean, if that's even possible, because I thought there was a lot going on in the ending of Caraval. But obviously, like, the Empress has died now. Dante's been revealed as Legend. He's also now the heir to the throne, and I don't know if he genuinely is the heir to the throne or if it's just trying to throw Jax off. I guess we will find out in finale. Throughout reading this, I've said multiple times that it was probably verging on a 4.5, a 4.75 for me. In the end, I have given it a full 5 out of 5, and that was because I obviously sat and thought about the full reading experience last night. I looked back through my notes, I thought about the journey that I've had with Tella's character and that ending and it just deserved a 5. I couldn't not give it, like, I couldn't come up with anything that justified me shaving any points off in the end. I thoroughly enjoyed it. For me, this is a chunky book, and I know people do read books that are a lot chunkier than this, but for me 470 pages is a chunky book, and I could not put this down. Like, I got through this in record time for someone who is a very slow reader, so I think that is testament to how much I enjoyed it. So I think on the whole it does deserve its 5 stars. That does conclude the reading vlog for Legendary. If you've not watched my Caraval one, go back and watch that, and we will be starting a reading vlog for finale, so come and join me for that one, and I will see you guys next time.